How to get to level 100 gear in the fastest and most efficient way possible. Now, the first thing we're going to take a look at here is actually going to be our guns and the modules. Now, I highly emphasize rifling reinforcement. This is going to be one of your biggest investments when we're talking about something that can carry over from gun to gun. So you see on my gun that uses general rounds, it has the maxing of the rifling reinforcement. If we go to my next gun, which is using impact rounds, we also have the rifling reinforcement maxed. Nothing else is maxed. Like, we're not specialty building. We're not doing any of that. That does not matter, right? And then, of course, on my special gun, or my high power rounds, this is also going to be maxed. Now, I will give the disclaimer that it is not all going to be just simultaneous at once. You are going to have to push story, and you are going to have to prioritize those croupier shards into one of these at a time, right? So that's going to be the first basis of what is going to be a top priority as you are pushing. This is honestly solely the only thing that I would recommend focusing as a beginner and someone that is trying to clear normal mode. And then everything else that you add to it is just extra. When looking at the Descendant modules, the main thing that you really want to emphasize here, or what I would recommend, would be the polygenic antibody. This is going to be giving you an all attribute resistance increase. Now, this is something that I would say is definitely going to carry over for quite some time, because again, yes, you can technically get more resistant stats out of using something that's more specific, like say, for example, the heat antibody, which specifically caters to fire resistance. But this is generally speaking going to be just viable on any character, especially starting out. And so this does lower the amount that you would have to typically put into a attribute specific resistance, which is really important. HP and defense are also going to be another massive thing that you're going to want to shoot for, investing in to some degree on your units, so that you're able to, one, take more damage, or for example, like in my Ajax situation, it helps me with scaling my shields and stuff like that. So depending on the unit, these would definitely vary, but these are definitely some of the high priority stats because everybody has HP, everybody needs defense, and everybody needs resistance. Now, as far as trying to push main quest missions, my main piece of advice would, one, be focusing that, but also bringing a friend with you. The reason why is not because of the lack of capability of each character. I believe every single character actually can solo a lot of this stuff, but what bringing a person does is it actually makes it much quicker. Now, I will say the reason why you want to at least bring one person with you before you go in here is because so far from what I've realized is that in some situations, you might find that no one is actually in the realm with you. So you end up having to solo things by yourself. And that can be very tedious, especially if it's something that requires you to guard or block or defend something. And there's a crap ton of enemies coming towards you. So you definitely want to make sure that you are in a position where you at least have one other person to cover you so that you can get these missions done as quickly as possible. But I definitely recommend co-op. This gateways us into our void intercept battles. Now, the thing about this is that I would say Dead Bride is probably going to be where you feel the very first difficulty spike. My best piece of advice is that if it's recommending to bring some attribute resistance, definitely try to bring some, but keep in mind that you don't have to bring a whole bunch for the attribute specific, because you have that polygenic antibody, which gives you all res for everything. And so you only have to probably level that to about like 2 or 3, maybe 4, but not really too crazy, because you already will have a solid amount on. And that's not also including if you have anything under your reactor or your external components. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, the other part that is going to make this more difficult as you push forward, and what you have to be aware of, I definitely recommend, if you are going to run a squad that actually understands the mechanics, or at least try to sit and learn the mechanics with that said squad. I will say running pubs is going to be very annoying, because if anything happens, a lot of people are just leaving the public rooms. And I even have found that I had people come to my stream yesterday and I was helping them run through it. So we are going to be doing some runs. So if you guys do need help, and we're actually free at that moment, then we'll definitely try to run you through them. Twitch.tv/ZoxysCon is where you guys can come. And we'll try to get some people through them, or at least try to teach people the mechanics, because each of these, from the Devourer to the Pyromaniac, all have gimmicks that make it a lot more difficult than what it actually is if you don't understand the gimmicks. Swamp Walker is actually not bad, and then I would argue Hangman is going to cook a lot of people, because it does have one of the more rigorous gimmicks that if you don't actually do what you're supposed to do, it is basically an instant wipe. So again, very, very important to make sure that you're running this with a team. and that you fully understand what the gimmicks are, because that's really what this plays more into. Now, at this point, if you completed every facet of story, you will now be in hard mode. Now, once you get to hard mode, this is actually where level 100 pieces will drop. Now, what I would advise you guys to do, especially if there are guns that you want to continue to use, you can definitely go to the, say, Kingston, for example. You can change the world difficulty to hard, and then from there, you can go into Kingston and do a couple of missions, and you will get some level 100 drops. Now, the thing that you're going to want to do is obviously go to the workbench. You're going to go to weapon level transmission. And for a example here, like I have these restored relic launcher. I have the Greg's reverse fate. Say I want to use this launcher. I have a level 100 handgun right here. If I go to use that, say on this, it's going to now boost that to level 100. So now my drops are guaranteed to be level 100 as I'm traversing throughout hard mode. Now, mind you, I said that you can go to Kingston, which is the very, very first map that you start the game off with. So as long as you're in hard mode, you are now starting to be able to farm these level 100 pieces, because even in the very end of normal mode, the pieces will still be dropping about level like 97-ish or 93 to 97-ish, somewhere around there. And then they jump up all the way to level 100 in hard mode. So it is very, very simple to get there, but just kind of keeping in mind that the things that you're investing in is very, very simple. You do not have to go crazy. You're not trying to prestige. You can't prestige your character anyway until you're in hard mode. And there's a specific quest that gives you your first thing to do that. But we're going to have an entire separate video getting into that and that entire functionality. So if you want to check that out, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel for more amazing First Descendant content. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Everyone stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.